Hello, everybody, and welcome to Electric City Sentai Denzicaster right here on Geek Carolina. I'm Mike, and this is Denzicaster Now. We're taking a look at episodes 5 through 8 of Kamen Rider ZO. Yes, I know, I'm behind. I'm working on it. Christmas and the holiday season and Thanksgiving and a now, as of this recording, 6-month-old. Hello, Nolan. Should you watch this down the road and be embarrassed by your father. All of that has conspired against a lot of regularity, but we're getting back into the swing of things here at Geek Carolina, getting all the shows sort of back into production, so on and so forth. You'll see some quality changes in some of the videos as far as video and audio quality. We're playing around with new equipment and new setups and things like that, so please forgive anything like that you see. We're actually test driving the camera with this episode, so we'll see how it works. But we're trying to make sure we get 2 new episodes out a week of our various shows. So stay tuned, and we hope you enjoy the ride. And right now, we are playing catch-up with Kamen Rider ZO. I've got, as of the time I'm taping this, they're up to episode 21. So I got some catching up to do. Today we're looking at 5 through 8. So that means we are looking at episode 5, Switch On, 2011. Episode 6, 555-913-2003. Sounds like a phone number. Episode 7, Magic Showtime 2018. And Episode 8, Beauty and Beast 2012. So, let us sort of go through and discuss these. We're going to talk about them in generalities, but things I like, things I didn't like, so on and so forth. As always, if you want more details, detailed summaries of episodes and synopses, things like that, Wikipedia is for, or KamenRider.wikia.com, or KamenRider.fandom.com is actually where we get a lot of our information from for actors and episode titles and things like that. So, some general thoughts as we've been going through the series now, and I've got now 8 episodes behind me. It's been a while since I actually recorded the first episode where I went through episodes 1 through 4. Just some general things about the episodes themselves. Episode numbers 5 and 6 focus on both Kamen Rider Fourze and Kamen Rider Fives. Much like Decade, this show has tribute episodes and focus episodes based on previous writers, since ZO is the 20th anniversary of the Heisei Riders, and this serves as, frankly, the series finale season for Heisei era Kamen Rider, which is a pretty cool idea that they're gonna close out the Heisei era with a bang. I find it interesting that they combined Fourze and Fives into the same 2-parter. That is one thing coming out of Build that I'm not 100% pleased with. Build was very good about being a serialized story, and they, I thought, apparently mistakenly so, left the 2-part structure behind. It looks like, obviously, with this show, they've returned to the 2-parter format. It's something that's probably much more comfortable for Kamen Rider as a whole. It has become the more traditional method by which to do Kamen Rider, so I understand that. I'll give them that one, but still, it is one of those things where I do sit back and look and go, oh, geez, guys. I wish this was a serialized story. But that would be harder to do with this format, I think, where you're going through and you have a focal point on each pair of episodes, where it's focusing on one particular show or one particular era of Kamen Rider. So I can see where they're going and why they're doing it. But still, the idea of combining Fourze and Fives is somewhat bizarre. So in this particular case, the story has one of the Another Riders first in 2003 being given the power of Fives in order to save, prolong, artificially extend the life of this girl that he loves. Fast forward 11 years later to 2011, and he is given a second set of powers. He's given the Fourze powers. by a different Time Jacker. The Time Jackers being one of the three factions that we are seeing in the show that are trying to uh, manipulate our hero, Mister Mister Sogo, I believe is his name. I'm just going to go back. Yeah, Sogo Tokiwa. So, trying to manipulate Sogo. So, first we see the Fourze powers, and we revisit Amanagawa High School, and there's some really... I like the way this show does the winks and nods, because it's... they pay reverence, but they're paying reverence by showing us what happens to all of these things years later. So Amanagawa High School, which frankly does not look much like Amanagawa High School from Fourze, take into account that probably the only thing they had was the sign. It's probably not even the same location that the original show was shot on. But we meet two members of the new Kamen Rider Club. We find out that Fourze himself, Genichiro, is apparently disappeared or something with other students. I truthfully do not recall if they said it was a field trip or something else, because it was basically a throwaway line to explain why the actor wasn't there. But we do meet the stand-in advisor, who is our, and I forget the character's name, which I hate, but Suspenders guy from Kamen Rider Fourze, who is one of my favorite characters in the show. Is very much comic relief, but you come to love him over the course of the show. The Kamen Rider Club has evolved into now a group that basically follows the urban myth of Kamen Rider, which we've seen that idea before, that the Kamen Riders were an urban myth. So we're bringing that particular concept back for the Kamen Rider Club here, and they basically just track down the activities supposedly of different Kamen Riders and so on. Never the wiser, apparently, that the regular advisor was Kamen Rider when he was a student at the high school. But we encounter those characters. We find out that our potential victim is actually a student at Amanagawa High School. So I like the tributes in this two-parter. We see some photos of different characters. For instance, the Suspenders teacher, we see his old crush is a picture of her resides in a lockbox with the Fourze ride watch. The idea of these another riders not always using the powers for 100% selfish means. I'm digging this concept. One of the things that's always been very core to Kamen Rider is the idea that there is a price to be paid for being the hero. There's a price to be paid for being Kamen Rider. All the way dating back to the original show. In the original show, the price was you're a cyborg. You will never have a normal life. They play that up very heavily in the early episodes with Hiroshi Fujioka in the starring role as Rider 1. So we see that sort of here, and we see that there's a tragedy that befalls these different characters that become the another riders. So I dig that. But here, the another rider who is at first we see as Fourze and later learn has the Five's powers too. This character is basically killing Libras, the zodiac sign, Libras who are 18 years of age, which matches the girl that he's trying to save. He's taking their life force. The girl he's trying to save is actually already dead. Spoilers. And he's taking their life force to prolong hers and kind of keep her holding on. So he has a noble goal. He is trying to save a life, but he is trying to save a life at the expense of many others. And one could classify that as what makes someone a villain. I've always said that you have very few true villains in TV and movies and superheroes and things like that these days. A bad guy does bad things. A villain does bad things for the right reasons. In the villain's mind, he has to be the hero of his own story. See the Riddler in Gotham. in season 4. He is very much, to his mind, he is the hero of this story. He is doing the right thing, but he's doing the wrong things for the right reasons, sort of thing. So, the Punisher would be another one that he's an anti-hero, but you could classify him in the same concept. So, it's just that the bad things he does are two villains. So, it's an interesting concept, and I like it. And they're kind of walking a bit of a tightrope with it. They do the same thing in the following 2 episodes as well. So I dig that. I dig the tributes that we're getting. I like the guest stars they're bringing back. I know the show's going to inevitably it's going to catch flack if it hasn't already. I haven't really kept up with a lot of the background, but I'm waiting for it to catch flack for not bringing back all the hero actors or using stand-ins. For instance, there's a stand-in for Haruka Wizard. There's a stand-in for Genichiro Forze. We never actually see their faces in their civilian forms. But we get characters from those shows. So that I like. That was a big controversial thing with Kamen Rider Decade, the 10th anniversary Heisei Rider show, because they used... they created new characters, essentially, for all the different riders, and they had alternate realities. I did Kamen Rider Decade on Denzi Blitz a while ago, so you can check out my opinions on that show. So, I like the fact that they are bringing back other characters, but I also like the fact that they are bringing back some of the actual riders. For instance, we see Takumi and Kosaka from Faiz. So that would be Inui Takumi is Kamen Rider Faiz himself, and Kosaka is Kamen Rider Kaiza. And I will say this: when they show up in these 2 episodes, they steal the show. It's basically their show while they're on screen. So I applaud them a great deal. And they are very true to their characters from Faiz. So you very much get the vibe that it's the same characters, the same world, the same life. I've long been disappointed a lot of times in the fact in general that they bring back, and have now done so repeatedly, Inui Takumi from Faiz. I've been really upset about that over time. I've mellowed, but it was always because, to me, in the final moments of Faiz, when you watch the show, the final moments of the show are very open-ended, and you kind of get to make your own interpretation of the finale. So the fact that they've now basically told you what happened takes away from that a little bit to me. But here, these guys do a tremendous job. If there's anything I don't like, you know what, I'm going to come back to that, because it's the same thing I don't like about the next 2. So, Magic Showtime 2018 and Beauty and Beast 2012. Our cameo writer, these are both focused on Kamen Rider Wizard. Our cameo writer is Beast, Kamen Rider Beast. So we do get to see Beast. We get to see what he's like in 2018. We get to see him a little bit back in 2012 through flashbacks and things like that. Basic gist of the episode: there's a magic shop. It's going to close. The stage magician there is a very small space. The magician they have is not particularly great. Doesn't bring in any audiences. So the stagehand accepts a contract from the Time Jackers to get Wizard's powers and get true magic, and he uses it to help keep the shop open because he loves the shop owner. He's in love with this woman. Another common trend we're seeing is love motivating a lot of these decisions. So he does that, but he never really does too much to get terribly sideways that I see in these couple episodes. He's really forced into becoming the monster of the week by Commodore Gates. So, sort of a lot of character development for Gates out of these couple episodes. I enjoy that. We see a little bit of playing with history, which I don't know how much I like or not. But we see the compassion out of Soga, which I think is really cool and necessary because they keep hitting you over the head with the fact that he's destined to be the Demon King if they can't change history. So overall, this pair of episodes, I really dug. Like I said, I really dug the Fives guys when I came back. Out of the Wizard episodes, Beast doesn't get quite as much time as Inui and Kosaka, because Kosaka and Inui were actually integral to the plot. It was really cool to see Soga and Inui working together to solve the case. Beast's powers he still has, so we do get to see him transform into Kamen Rider Beast briefly. They do a little hint with the Mayo, which is a nice little callback to the show, and he still camps everywhere. He's still, I won't say homeless, but he always camps. He's never locked down to like an apartment or anything. So those things are pretty cool. The another rider designs continue to knock it out of the park for me. We've seen several of them up to this point, and I like all of them. They almost feel like somebody said, "Hey, let's take all the SIC figure designs and turn them into actual suits and make them characters on the show." I wonder if that was somehow an inspiration. And of course, not all these were SICs. I don't think any of them were, but you kind of get that vibe of just this really strange, twisted, alternate look at these characters. So that's really cool. What I don't like, I do not care for, I don't think, any of the characters at this point. None of them have drawn me in. I have no attachment to any of them, and we're at episode 8. I'm not going to give this series the Roy 10 treatment, where I give it 10 episodes. If it doesn't catch me after 10, I'm done. Because there's enough of the show that I am liking that I'm willing to continue and give this thing a shot. But, yeah, there's just something where I'm not a huge fan of what I'm seeing out of the characters. Soga comes off right now as very one note. Gates is a dick. Our female character, again, whose name escapes me, I'll get more accustomed to their names as we go. But our female lead, she does a good job, but she's not anything really groundbreaking. Tsukuyomi. She's not really anything groundbreaking out of a female lead in Kamen Rider. My favorite character in the whole show at this point is Junichiro, who is Soga's uncle that runs the watch shop. That's my favorite character in the show right now. May have something to do with the fact that the actor, Katsuhisa Namase, I've seen him in a whole lot of stuff before this. He is generally the male lead, the male comedic lead in a lot of different shows, like all 3 series of Goku-sen. And then he's, I think, a police detective in Trick. I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. He's even in a Godzilla movie. So, or not Godzilla, Gamera. He's in Gamera 3 from the Heisei Gamera trilogy. So I've seen him in a lot of stuff, and I really like him. In fact, when I first saw the character, I was like, oh my god, that's the dude from Goku-sen. So I was really a fan of that. But he's my favorite character in the show, which probably isn't good. At least I don't take that as a good sign. I like the dynamic with our characters. There's a 3-way dance going on between the Time Jackers, basically our heroes, the Resistance, and then Waz, all trying to tug Soga into their respective directions. Waz wants history to stay as written. In 2068, Soga is Oma Zio. He is the Demon King, not Finn Balor. He is the Demon King, and he is going to rule with the power of 20 riders combined. He wants that world to happen. He's basically Oma Zio's herald. You have the Resistance, who are trying to prevent that from happening, either by killing Soga if necessary, or by shaping him into being a different person than what history records. And then you have the Timejackers, who just want anybody else, anybody other than him, to be the Demon King. So they're trying to create a Demon King they can manipulate. So I really do dig that concept. But my favorite character is the Clockmaker, the guy that runs the repair shop, the uncle. Next to him, it's Waz. I have a problem with a superhero show where my favorite characters are either incidental or the bad guys. My favorite character in the Flash TV show when it first aired was Captain Cold. But it wasn't because the Flash was one-dimensional or unlikable. It was because Captain Cold was just a really awesome character. And I really like the Flash, but I like Captain Cold more. That's fine. This, we'll see. I got a lot of catching up to do. I got a lot more episodes to watch. So, let me know what you think in the comments down below. You guys have probably seen more episodes of this than I have at this point. But, like I said, I'm catching up. So, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it plus tax. Give it a thumbs down. You know what I'm trying to say. Share, like, subscribe. Let us know if you like it or dislike it. Let us know why in the comments down below. Of course, we would love for you to hop over to our Redbubble page, redbubble.com/people/Geek Carolina, or to our Cafe Press store, cafepress.com/Geek Carolina. You'll find links to that in the description down below. You can help support us here at the channel with buying some of the t-shirts and things like that. Also want to encourage you, as a Tokusatsu fan, if you haven't already, check out our new series on Rage Quit Radio, which right here on the same channel here on Geek Carolina, which is Delta Squad, very much inspired by Power Rangers SPD, and using the role-playing game system from Power Rangers Hyperforce best as I could interpret it, with some tweaks for my group and my own GMing style. Check that out here in the coming weeks. Episode 1 is being broken down into 3 parts, introducing our heroes and sort of the world. And you guys can help out our heroes on that show, and they will need it. Believe me, I'm the guy writing the story. They're going to need it. You can help them out on those videos, and I encourage you to check those out, and please do so. They will love you forever. So, folks, until next time, when I've got 4 more episodes of Kamen Rider ZO to go through, I'm Mike. We'll see you next time on Denzicaster Now.